I believe we are ready when you are, Mr. Warden.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll call, please?
Sure, I can confirm that all members are in attendance today with the exception of Counselor Body and Counselor Marion Kepke is attending in his place.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Before we begin, I want to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathering on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of the Three Fires, known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. And further, we give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, known collectively as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, the traditional keepers of these lands and waters since time immemorial. To our south lies the traditional territories of the Six Nations of the Grand River and the Haudenosaunee. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and friendship with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Is there any declaration, excuse me, of interest related to any matter on today's council agenda? Seeing none, if one should arise during the course of the meeting, you can, of course, declare it at that time. The first item of business is adoption of the minutes. We have the County Council and Committee of the Whole minutes dated July 25th of this year. Someone care to move receiving of those minutes? Councillor Eccles and Councillor McKay. Any discussion? All those, sorry, Mr. Eccles, did you? No, you're good. Okay. Is anyone opposed to that motion? That is carried. Thank you very much. The next set of minutes is the Long-Term Care Committee of Management minutes dated July 23rd and the various resolutions contained therein. That will be moved by Councillor Hutchison and seconded by Councillor Patterson. Any discussion? Is anyone opposed? That is carried. The final set of minutes is the Long-Term Care Redevelopment Planning Task Force dated July 25th and the resolutions contained therein. Moved by Councillor Keaveney, seconded by Councillor Bordignon. Any discussion? Anyone opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. We have no closed meeting matters in council this morning. There are no reports. We simply have a bylaw to, I guess it's a bylaw to amend bylaw 5073. Just let me read it. That way everybody knows what it is. The bylaw 5193-24 and 5196-24 be introduced and be taken as a read, a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the warden and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed in the bylaw book. And the two bylaws are, the first one is to authorize an amended and restated agreement between the corporation of the County of Grey and the Grey Sauble Conservation Authority. And the second bylaw is the confirming bylaw that will confirm all actions and proceedings of the council. Councillor DeBreen will move that. Councillor Nielsen will second. Discussion. Councillor Eccles.
This bylaw, we had discussion a little while ago, and I'm not certain that I saw anything in there dealing with tree marking or the request from Grey Sauble. Is that in this bylaw?
Randy, please, or who wants to?
Yeah. Through your Warden Milne, yes, that is in this proposed bylaw. That would be Grey Sauble Conservation Authority would be allowing tree marking on private lands on a trial basis to the end of the current contract. With that, my understanding is that they had discussions at their Conservation Authority board with respect to this matter. I think there's understanding and support from the council board, but based on what I heard and received. In terms of this, as noted previously, this is something that exists already for Grey Sauble. They provide these services in Bruce County. And this just confirms then that they were able to provide those services like any other business can provide those services in Grey County as well.
Thank you, Randy. Scott, I see your hands up, or Scott Taylor. I'll ask if he wants to chime in there.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Through you, I just wanted to know, in addition to what Randy said, we do have a representative from Grey Sauble with us today, Gloria Dangerfield. So certainly county staff are happy to answer any questions that council may have. And if we do choose to hear from Grey Sauble staff, Gloria is with us today as well to try to answer any questions or provide any clarification back to council before a decision is made.
Very good. Thank you, Scott. Okay, now to Councillor Greig, please.
Thank you.
Go?
Through you, Warden, to the concerns of our fellow councillor, I hope it does alleviate your concerns that the board did have a thorough report at the July board meeting, and the return to previous service provision created no objections or concerns from any of the board members of the Grey Sauble Conservation Authority. So we were happy moving forward in support of the bylaw that's before County Council today.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Greig. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the Councillor Eccles.
So I guess further to Councillor Greig and Director Taylor, that this is allowing the Conservation Authority, a publicly funded, taxpayer funded organization, to be competing in the with private sector companies that are quite obviously paying the taxes and funding a company that is going to be competing against them. Am I far off of that point?
I'm going to ask CAO Wingrove to respond, and then Councillor Greig.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Warden, and I certainly don't want to speak over top of Councillor Greig, but I would say it is my understanding, as has been earlier mentioned, that Grey Sauble has been providing this service along with many others for a long time now. Certainly, our conservation authorities are not in a financial position to be offering any service on a subsidized basis, and I would go so far as, given the structure that they operate under and the costs that they bear, that they're unlikely to be the low cost provider of these services. So I'm not sure that the data exists to support the fact that the Conservation Authority would be in a position to undercut any existing businesses when it comes to providing the tree marking service. It would be my sense that people choose to use the Conservation Authority to provide this service because they value perhaps the process and the approach that the Conservation Authority takes to tree marking.
Thank you, Kim. Councillor Greig, did you want to respond?
I was just going to quickly say, and there are two other board members as members of County Council probably joining here today as well. But to the concerns of the councillor, municipal tax levy is not funding that service being provided that we're discussing here today. Yes, the revenues do go back into that department, but we are not operating in any such way that there's a subsidy. And that type of information was in the report, which we had in July, and left the board members all feeling comfortable.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Okay. Any further discussion? I'll call the question. Is anyone opposed? Councillor Eccles is opposed. I will declare that carried. Okay. Thank you very much for that discussion. Any news and celebrations? Councillor Nielsen.
Thank you very much, Warden Neil. Sorry, just wanted to let everybody know that on August the 25th, we'll be having a Markdale Jubilee celebration. Part of the festivities will be having Grey Highlands Council compete against Markdale residents in a Markdale trivia contest. But part of the contest is to progressively eat hotter and spicier chicken wings. So if anybody wants to see Grey Highlands Council's lips burning and on fire. Come on out to the Markdale Arena on Sunday, the 25th of August. I think it's 12:30. That's starting, but there's festivities all day long. But I just thought the rest of County Council be entertained by the County Council members' burning lips.
Yeah, there's so much you could say, but I'm not going to. Okay, any other good news and celebration? Councillor Eccles.
Tough to say this, but we're getting into fall fair season. And coming up just shortly is the Benedict Brandt Hanover Fall Fair, August, I just forgot, 14th, 15th, that weekend. And then the Durham Fall Fair will be before its council meeting August 30th, 31st, and September 1st, 2024. As well as coming up is the Elmwood, which the larger proportion of Elmwood is in Grey County. Elmwood Homecoming is on that September 1st weekend as well too. A lot of activities going on out at the community center, which of course we split with Bruce County and even more so with the municipality of Brockton. Fun and festive and reminiscing from that portion of Grey County in West Grey.
Thank you, sir.
Seeing everybody there.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Councillor DeBreen.
Thank you, Warden Milne, and good morning, County Council again. I am just pleased to let everyone know that the Grey County Truck Show is being held this weekend at the Dundalk Fairgrounds. It's being held Saturday and Sunday during the day, as well as Saturday evening. There's a band and festivities that way. And since we won't be meeting before the end of August, I'd like to remind everyone that the Hopeville Kite Festival is making its return to Hopeville on August 24 and 25, down on Grey Road 9, just around Southgate Road 15 area. So be sure to check them out at flyhopeville.ca. And I apologize, my dogs have decided to chime in too. Have a good day.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Councillor Deckard.
Thank you, Warden Milne, and good morning. And on Councillor Eccles' coattails here, just wanted to promote the Hanover Fair, and it's not a fall fair. We're not trying to rush the season too much here. So lots of activities going on with the crier competition, baby show, and inflatables, lots of things for the kids to do. And car show starts tomorrow night, and should be a full weekend, and look forward to anybody that's looking for something to do this weekend. Come and join us. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Warren. Anyone else? Seeing nothing else. Councillor Mackey.
Thanks, Warden, and good morning, everyone. Speaking of fall fairs, the Desborough Fall Fair will be happening on the Labor Day weekend, and it is one of the best agricultural fall fairs in all of Grey County. So I hope everyone can come out to Desborough. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing any others. I have a motion to adjourn. Someone care to move? Councillor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Nielsen. Any discussion? Anyone opposed? That is carried. So we'll just take a minute and to allow Olivia to switch us over to Committee of the Whole.